Some of the biggest questions we ask ourselves are things like where we came from, to is there life beyond ours? Conspiracy theories have run rapid throughout history, but more so in the most recent years. The amount of technology we have access to and are able to use now is incredible, but 20 years ago these things seemed impossible, and this could be proof that parallel universes exist. Many believe we have been able to make all this new technology possible because of other dimensions. The evolution of technology over just the last 10 years is massive, and many wonder how all of this is possible. Technology is evolving so fast because of a phenomenon known as accelerating change. Each improvement of technology can create the next, stronger generations of technology at a faster rate. As each generation of technology is better than the last, it builds new technology faster. Even just back to the 1990s, the internet was just invented. It was a new commodity to all, but not everyone had access to it, and those who did had to deal with slow connection and dial-ups. Now in 2022 we have Teslas, wireless everything, iPhones, an app for literally anything, 5G, robots, cryptocurrency, drones, and so much more. We have so much available to us now, and the amount of technology we have created and have access to is mind-blowing. Only about 80 years ago was when the first electronic color TV system came out. How is it possible for this massive influx of technology in such a short amount of time? It wasn't that long ago that American inventor and businessman Thomas Edison invented the electric light bulb and phonograph. Looking back at things like that seems like thousands and thousands of years ago to how far we have come now. Edison is considered one of America's leading innovators, and today many would consider Elon Musk the new age Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla. Many believe that the amount of technology we have access to and in such a short amount of time that there could quite possibly be the technology made to prove that parallel universes exist. In at number 4 we have dreams. Everyone has dreams. Some are pleasant while others can be nightmares. Some of the most common dreams are about falling, being chased, being able to fly, being naked in public, and our teeth falling out. For thousands of years both scientists and people have been trying to decode our dreams and the meanings behind them. Many scientists say that some of our dreams may be glimpses into parallel universes. There are many people who actually study people's dreams, and it's the work of neurology. It's when they analyze brain waves during dreaming and study the findings and what they may mean. Ancient Greeks and Romans believed that dreams provided messages from the gods. The Chinese believed that dreams were a message from their dead ancestors, and many Native Americans believe that dreams are nothing but glimpses of a different world that none of us have ever visited. Thousands of years ago, mythics believed that dreams are what happen in a parallel universe, a place resided by ghosts and spirits. Some scientists have debunked the ghost theory, but many agree that they might be in a multiverse, the existence of many more universes other than our own. Many scientists theorize that there could be a copy of all of us in a parallel world, someone who was like you in many aspects. The life of this other you are identical to you in this universe but may do certain things differently. But since your timelines are different, the worlds never coincide, neither physically nor mentally. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis and neurologist, says that the interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. He and many others believe that because dreams are such an unconscious activity, they give an almost direct insight into the workings of the unconscious mind and could be proof of parallel universes. In at number 3 we have time travel. Time travel is talked about by many conspiracy theorists, movies, TV shows, and many believe this is in fact exists, and if it does then it proves that parallel universes may be true. It's the concept of movement between certain points in time, the movement between different points in space by an object or a person, typically with the use of a device known as a time machine. Time travel is widely recognized concept in philosophy and fiction, particularly science fiction. The idea of a time machine was popularized by H.G. Wells' 1895 novel, The Time Machine. One popular theory is that we could or possibly have moved through space and time via wormholes. A wormhole was first theorized in 1916 and is a tunnel-like connection which has 2 openings and is connected by a throat, and provides a path that a traveler could follow to a distant point. Wormholes can be made by joining the centers of black holes and white holes. This creates a tunnel through space and time. Many studied the possibilities things like wormholes, black holes, or portals could be direct links or doorways to another universe or dimension. Another mystery relating to time travel is the story of John Titor. John started posting stories on the internet claiming to be from the future and predicting many things, but suddenly disappeared and was never heard from again. For months he responded to many people answering questions on forums, and described future events and often stated to everyone that alternate realities do in fact exist. John also provided a number of technical specs regarding how time travel worked, with overly complex algorithms and grainy photos of his actual machine, which made time travel possible. On March 24, 2001 he signed off forever and was never heard from again. Many are skeptical of John's stories, while others do in fact believe him, and thinks this proves what time travel does exist, and further proves that parallel universes also exist. In at 2, we have space. Besides the ocean, space and the vast universe is the biggest mysteries we don't know about. The constant mystery and massive universe beyond our planet is proof in itself that there are in fact parallel universes. Since NASA's inception in 1958, they have been able to land astronauts on the moon, parked a robot-controlled rover on Mars, and discovered thousands of exoplanets, yet so much is still unknown. The size of the universe is unknown, and it might be infinite in extent. According to the Big Bang Theory, the very early universe was an extremely hot and dense state, about 13.8 billion years ago, which rapidly expanded. Despite the harsh environment, several life forms have been found that can withstand extreme space conditions for extended periods. Species of lichen carried on the ESA Biopan facility survived exposure for 10 days in 2007. For humans in particular, space can be extremely dangerous, hence astronauts have to wear spacesuits outside of Earth's atmosphere. Conditions are hostile to the human body, and exposure to weightlessness has been shown to have massive effects on human health over time, but this doesn't mean other life forms couldn't survive, or that other planets or parallel universes exist beyond Earth. It's very hard for scientists and astronauts to research the universe and space, because it's unforgiving and doesn't allow us to rely on the same technology that we use here on Earth. Elon Musk is a large part of the exploration of space with this SpaceX technology, possibly giving us more answers of what lies beyond our planet, and more proof of parallel dimensions. It's so hard to have the exact answers about the universe or what the possibilities are. And finally, in at number 1, we have deja vu. All of us have experienced deja vu, at least one time in their lives, if not often, and many believe that deja vu is in direct correlation to parallel universes. Deja vu is derived from the French meaning already seen. It's the feeling of having already experienced the present situation. It seems to spark our memory of a place we have already been, a person we have already seen, or an act we have already done. Deja vu is associated with temporal lobe epilepsy. This experience is a neurological anomaly related to epileptic electrical discharge in the brain, creating a strong sensation that an event or an experience currently being experienced has already been experienced in the past. Migraines with aura are also associated with deja vu. Early researchers tried to establish a link between deja vu and mental disorders like anxiety, dissociative identity disorder, and schizophrenia, but failed to find correlations of any diagnostic value. A 2008 study found that deja vu experiences are unlikely to be pathological dissociative experiences. Certain drugs have proven to increase the chance of experiencing deja vu in the user. Some pharmaceutical drugs, when taken together, have also been implicated in the cause of deja vu. A case had been reported of a healthy male who started experiencing intense and recurrent sensation of deja vu upon taking 2 drugs together to relieve flu symptoms. Research has associated deja vu experiences with good memory functions. Recognition memory enables people to realize the event or activity that they are experiencing has happened before. When people experience deja vu, they may have their recognition memory triggered by certain situations which they have never encountered. Dreams are also believed to be associated with deja vu, and they're related in 3 different aspects. Firstly, some experiences duplicate the situations in dreams instead of waking conditions. Secondly, people may experience deja vu because some elements in their remembered dreams were shown. Thirdly, people may experience deja vu during a dream state, which links deja vu with dream frequency. Many scientists and theorists believe that deja vu could be a window into a parallel universe. In at 5, we have aliens. Some of the biggest signs of parallel universes is the proof that we aren't the only life in this universe and that aliens are among us and live outside of our own planet. NASA, as we all know, are one of the lead investigators of space, and they do in fact have proof of extraterrestrial life, but a lot of the time they hide their findings from the public. In 1976, there were tests performed on Martian soil samples taken from Mars, and the results there were radioactive carbon-labeled nutrients, suggesting that something in the soil was metabolizing the nutrients and producing radioactive gas. One of the original scientists on the case said there was evidence found of organic molecules, which is a key indicator of life. Before this finding, there was a US radio astronomer by the name of Frank Drake, who in 1961 developed an equation to help estimate the number of planets hosting intelligent life and those who are capable of communicating with us. By the end of his research, Frank concluded that the final number of communicating civilizations in the galaxy to be about 10,000. Not only do NASA researchers and other scientists have findings of aliens, but one of the most top secret places in the world is Area 51, and many believe they have have proof of alien life. There's spacecraft and even aliens themselves inside of the highly secure building. Area 51 is so-called highly classified Air Force facility and is protected by the government. In 1992, a declassified CIA report came to light and the government mentioned the proof of UFOs and their research on it. The only proof we could get from the government would be from ex-employees of Area 51 because the government facility is covered by the Freedom of Information Act. So any evidence they do have, we may never know. Some things the government doesn't have control of is the sightings and alien abduction stories made by people all over the world for centuries. Since the 1940s, there have been so many different people who have seen aliens and UFOs, and they have all similar descriptions, usually an extremely fast-moving saucer-shaped object with bright lights, things that are not of this world and have not been claimed by an airplane company or military aircraft. The proof of extraterrestrial life and spacecrafts proves that there is so much more beyond our planet that we don't know about, and the technology they have access to is so beyond ours that it's very possible that parallel universes do in fact exist. In at number 4, we have past lives. Some of the biggest debates is that of humans living previous lives and the proof of reincarnation. If this is true, it makes the parallel universe theory very strong. Many people throughout the world have claimed to remember their past lives or how they have passed in their previous lives. Many of the people who are able to remember their past lives are children, many between the ages of 2 and 5. Different statements made by these children have shown to correspond accurately to facts in the life and death of a deceased person. Past life regression is a method that uses hypnosis on people to recover memories of their past lives or incarnations. The technique used during the regression involves the subject answering a series of questions while hypnotized to reveal identities and events of alleged past lives people have had. These experiments done are highly debated by scientists and religious leaders. Dr. Jim Tucker, who is now the director of the Division of Perceptual Studies, has been focused on cases of past lives found in the United States for the past 20 years. He's even written a book called Return to Life, which contains many of his findings throughout the years and offers accounts of a very strong American case of young children who remember their previous lives, including the two most well-known cases of James Leininger and Ryan Hammonds. James's story started just after his 2nd birthday, where he began having nightmares that would not stop. In his nightmare, he would scream out phrases like "plane on fire," "little man can't get out." When James would mention details of planes and war tragedies, which no 2-year-old boy would know, his parents started to try and put the pieces together, soon realizing their son previously lived as a World War II fighter pilot by the name of James Hustings. There was a book written of this extraordinary boy and the previous life called Soul Survivor, which details the boy's thoughts, findings, and details of his previous life. Ryan's is one of the most famous of past life memories and holds the record for the greatest number of accurate memories of a previous life related to a previous living person. At around 4 years old, he soon began to relate memories to a man named Marty Martin, who worked in Hollywood as a talent agent. For years, Ryan would tell his parents about his previous life as Martin and many facts he would have no clue about at the age and would eventually be verified as true, including having a large swimming pool in his home, he tap danced on stage, he hated cats, he had a younger sister, his mother had curly brown hair, and so many more. These true cases just solidify that we are part of a parallel universe. In at number 3, we have Mandela effect. Many people throughout the world have heard of the Mandela effect or have experienced certain Mandela effects directly. The theory started by none other than Nelson Mandela, but the story that many remember have happened, and this story started this whole theory. The term Mandela effect was first coined in 2009 by Fiona Broome, when she created a website detailing her observation of the phenomenon. Broome was at a conference talking to other people about how she remembered the tragedy of former South African President Nelson Mandela's death in South African prison in the 1980s. And to interject, for the longest time, this Mandela effect happened to me. I thought Mandela had died in the 80s in prison as well. However, this never happened. Nelson passed away in 2013. Broome began talking to many other people who experienced the exact same memories, remembering news coverages on his death as well as a speech by his widow. People all around the world have had the same memories of this story, and over the years there have been an insane amount of different Mandela effects, where so many different people have the exact same memory, but these things have never been true. Some of the most popular Mandela effects are that of the Berenstain Bears, the movie Shazam starring Sinbad, the Monopoly Man's monocle, Curious George and his tail, the Fruit of the Loom label, and many others that are highly debated. Everything from popular movie quotes, cereal brands, song lyrics, popular cartoons are talked about by millions around the world, and many of these are remembered differently than they actually are. But how? It's like Star Wars. Luke, I'm your father. It wasn't even the f***ing quote. Love that. The Mandela effect is when a person believes that their memories are accurate recollections, but many believe in this theory because thousands if not millions of people have the same memories. So does this mean we are all wrong, or are there different dimensions, alternate realities, or parallel universes where these memories are coming from? In at number 2 we have simulation theory. One theory that has become very popular lately is that we are living in a simulation, and this is thought to be true by many throughout the world. Many researchers, scientists, and even Elon Musk believe we aren't truly living in the reality we think we are, and our world could very well be a computer simulation. The idea of the simulation theory can be attributed to the prominent Oxford University philosopher Nick Bostrom in his paper called Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?, where he argues that one of the 3 assumptions could be true. The human species is very likely to go extinct before reaching a post-human stage. Any post-human civilization is extremely unlikely to run a significant number of simulations of their evolutionary history, and we are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. His paper argues that we cannot, without a doubt, know if any of these theories are 100% true. However, Nick believes the third option is the most probable outcome, and so do many others. MIT developer and Plow Labs executive director Jofur Vorin expanded on Nick's idea in the books The Simulation Hypothesis, describing what he calls the simulation point, meaning the moment at which we could realistically build a matrix-like simulation. Rizwan describes his interpretation of the simulation theory, stating that the basic idea is that everything we see around us, including Earth and the universe, is part of a very sophisticated, massive multiplayer online role-playing game, and we are all players in the game. The popular movie franchise The Matrix, which came out in 1999, made many starts to think about if this could be possible and made the simulation theory idea popular. What does this mean, you know? I like it, but it's like, who's controlling me? I wish whoever controlled me didn't make me fall on ice, you know? Many people also think we are in a simulation because of our advanced technology and how fast moving it's become over the last few years. It wasn't that long ago where there was no internet, phones, AirPods, electric cars, social media, and over the past couple decades technology has boomed to an extreme level, which many question, how is it all possible in such a short amount of time? And finally, in at number 1 we have the pyramids. One of the most debated are how the pyramids were built, who built them, and how they were built. Many people have questioned how a society back in 2000 BC were capable of creating and building such complex structures. The most famous and biggest tourist attraction are the pyramids in Giza on the outskirts of Cairo in Egypt. Several of the Giza pyramids are among the largest structures ever built, and the Great Pyramid of Giza in particular is the largest and oldest pyramid and is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still in existence. The shape of Egyptian pyramids is believed to represent the primordial mound from which the Egyptians believed the earth was created. The shape is also thought to be representative of the descending rays of the sun, and most pyramids were faced with polished, highly reflective white limestone in order to give them a brilliant appearance when viewed from a distance. Many of the pyramids are believed to be built as tombs for the country's pharaohs and their consorts during the Old and Middle Kingdom periods. The tombs of the pharaohs and the temple they're held in guarantees life after death according to theorists, and the pyramids itself symbolizes the wealth and power of pharaohs. For years it's believed that the Egyptians used a sled which carried a stone block and was attached with ropes to wooden posts, and that's how they built the pyramids, but this has become highly speculated due to the complexity and magnitude of these structures. So many people have theorized how the Egyptians were able to pull off the building some of the largest and most complex structures in history, and the mystery has yet to be solved. It's one of the biggest questions to date and could be an indication of the proof of parallel universes.
Number 5 on this list is Torrid, a pretty clear indicator that someone is from an alternate dimension or parallel universe is if they claim to be from somewhere that doesn't exist. That's pretty much what happened a few years ago with a man in Japan. BuzzFeed says, allegedly this man told customs he was in Japan for business and had legitimate visa stamps, currency from multiple European countries, checks from an unknown bank, and a driver's license issued in Torrid. He was sent to a hotel while things were sorted out while 2 immigration officers stood outside of his hotel door. But when they went to check on him in the morning, he'd vanished. This was from 15 stories up above a busy street, so escaping through a window is very unlikely, if not impossible. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department searched but never located the man from Torrid. So many questions arise from a story like this. Where is Torrid? What did he need to do in Japan? Japan? Where did he go while he was being watched in the hotel, and how did he get out of there? Now that this guy disappeared, no one is gonna know the answer. I think the thing that I don't understand is if this guy wanted to keep his country secret, like he wanted to make sure that no one found out about it, then why did he show up to the airport with documents from that country? Like if he was traveling from another universe, he has to know that wouldn't have worked. And one has to imagine that he didn't want us to know his true identity, because then he disappeared without telling anyone anything the next day. It all just seems super fishy and doesn't really add up. Unless he just screwed up super bad and picked up the wrong papers in the morning when he was traveling dimensions and coming to Japan. Oh, and okay, also another question. If he can move through dimensions and come into our universe and stuff, like why couldn't he have just warped into Japan? Like why did he need to use the airport? You'd think that air travel would be pretty archaic and unnecessary for a guy who just moved from, one universe to another one. Comment down below if you can think of any logical reasons as to why all of these things may have been the way that they were. I'm curious to hear what you guys can come up with. Number 4 on this list is the Green Kids. So this one could be an argument for a parallel universe or for aliens. I'll let you guys be the judge. BuzzFeed says, back in the 12th century, 2 children, a brother and sister, allegedly popped up in the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, England. Both had greenish colored skin, spoke an unknown language, wore bizarre clothing, and initially refused to eat any food other than raw beans. They were taken in, cared for, and eventually they adapted, developing a taste for food and losing the green hue in their skin. Shortly after, the boy became sick and died, but after learning to speak English, the girl explained that she and her brother were from a place where the sun didn't shine bright and it was perpetually twilight. She and her brother were there herding their dad's cattle when they heard some loud noise and were suddenly in a new place where they were eventually discovered in Woolpit. The girl grew up and integrated herself into her new surroundings, though it remained unknown how she and her brother got there. The girl went on to get married and live her life here in a dimension that might not have actually been her place of origin. So, what are we thinking here, guys? Alien or alternate universe? I mean, when I hear green skin and unknown language, I automatically think alien, but I mean, I guess that could all be another dimension as well. That might also explain why they would have been okay with just staying here too. Anyways, comment down below what team you guys are on, Team Alien or Team Alternate Universe. Number 3 on this list is Jofur Vorin. This is a man who ended up being shipwrecked in Germany, but originally came from a completely unknown land. BuzzFeed says, so this story goes, a peculiar guy popped up in a village where he was picked up and questioned by authorities. The only comprehensible language he spoke was a broken variation of German, but he said his name was Jofur Vorin and claimed to come from a part of the world known as Sakria. He conveyed that he was searching for his long-lost brother, whom he'd been separated from during a shipwreck. While he had geographical information regarding his home planet, such as 5 compartments known as Sakria, Aflar, Aslar, Oslar, and Uplar, he couldn't trace his route on shore, and he would wind up living in Berlin, where he was a topic of discussion amongst the scientific and simply curious communities. This one seems like one of those stories where you get sucked into a whirlpool or something and then come out the other side in a totally different universe. I guess that's what happened here with Jofur. I must admit that I kind of feel bad for him if all this is true, because if all of this is true, then not only did you get sucked into another universe and are now forced to live here, but I don't think that you're ever gonna find your brother, bro. Stories like this should make you just a little bit more aware on that next fishing trip, I think. Number 2 on this list is the wrong turn. Imagine taking a wrong turn and ending up in an entirely different universe. That may have been what happened in this next story. BuzzFeed says the ladies had been driving on black asphalt in the desert, but after taking a wrong turn, they said they found themselves driving on white cement surrounded by grain field and a lake. They spotted a building with a large neon sign making up illegible random squiggles, and as they called in for assistance, a large group of tall men poured out of the front door, seeming shocked and upset, waving their arms at the girls. Then the girls realized these tall men didn't even appear to be human, so they freaked out and drove off. While the girls were driving away, they noticed 4 peculiar egg-shaped automobiles mounted on tricycle-style wheels, and they were following them. They sped ahead until the mysterious vehicles were out of sight, and when they reached the canyon and drove all the way back through it, they'd somehow returned to the desert they were originally in, glad to be back, but unable to figure out the mysterious place that they'd just gone or how they arrived there. So how the heck did that all happen? Also, they didn't mention it in the story, but what desert and what canyon is this in? This is seriously dangerous if all of this is true. I don't want to be driving through a canyon late at night and then just appear in another universe. Especially not a universe that has a bunch of super tall alien dudes chasing me around in eggmobiles. The girls who went there swear what they claim is true, so just be aware if you're driving out late at night. And number 1 on this list is the band breakup. The Beatles, one of the greatest bands to ever create music, literally ever. They were incredible, and the thought of them making any more music together is just so intriguing. Apparently, in another universe, they did just that. BuzzFeed says in 2009, a man named James Richards was in Livermore, California, driving home from Turlock with his dog. He claims that when he pulled over to let the pup empty her bladder, she sprinted after a rabbit and he followed after her, but tripped, knocking himself unconscious. When James came to, he was next to an odd machine in the company of a man named Jonas, who claimed to have found his unconscious body while on a work trip for an interdimensional travel agency. While they were together, Jonas and Richards wound up chatting about the pop culture in their respective universes and discovered that not only did the Beatles also exist in this dimension, but they were all still alive and actively making music. Richards acquired a cassette tape labeled Everyday Chemistry, which contained Beatles songs that never existed in our dimension. He even uploaded the songs to a website and called it the BeatlesNeverBrokeUp.com. So if there is a universe where there are more Beatles albums, then sign me up, dude. This also opens the door to so many cool universes out there as well. Like, there's definitely a universe out there where the only thing that's different is like Dunkaroos never got discontinued. And you know, let's face it, that's the universe that I think we all should want to live in.